Well, if the state's Protect Illinois Communities Act is upheld, then firearms that were purchased during the injunction week, 6 days where Stephen McGlynn, federal judge, issued an injunction to where the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals stayed that injunction. Firearms purchased between that time will be illegal. And again, that's if the Protect Illinois Communities Act is upheld. That's the statement I got Friday from Illinois State Police when I asked what the status would be of those individuals who did gain control of a firearm that's under the, quote, assault weapons ban in Illinois. And state police say persons who possess a banned firearm or firearm attachment are required to endorse an affidavit by January 1st, 2024, stating any banned firearm or firearm attachment were possessed prior to the enactment of the Protect Illinois Communities Act, January 10th, 2023. Well, what is the reaction from the Illinois State Rifle Association? Joining us right now is Illinois State Rifle Association Executive Director Richard Pearson. Richard, thanks for taking time with us this morning. I know you guys had some severe weather as we've had down here in our area, but go ahead and I guess give us your reaction to Illinois State Police and that statement they provided me concerning the status of people who purchased firearms during that injunction week. Good morning.
Good morning. I think that what the state police is saying is the enforcement of what the attorney general and the governor want. But it may have to be decided in court whether these firearms are illegal or not. Because the way I read it and the way almost everyone else read it was the Judge McGlynn said that the injunction stopped all that. And so I believe that there's probably going to be another suit that deals with this. I have called into our attorneys, and I haven't heard anything back yet, but we'll find out, I'm sure.
And the question really goes down to the issue of the law itself, talking about that affidavit process to where individuals who have a semi-automatic firearm listed in the, quote, assault weapons ban have to show that they possessed that before January 10th of 2023, when they have to file that by January 1st, 2024. Richard, we've talked about this in the past before. How likely do you think it is that we're actually going to see a possible, permanent injunction before that January 1st deadline for people to have to register their firearms with state police?
Well, right now, I believe it's probably going to happen. I know that we have some interest of the United States Supreme Court in this situation. So this is going to go up. I think it's going to go up rapidly. The Seventh Circuit has said they would expedite this. I know that there are briefs or responses due to the Seventh Circuit on Thursday. So this story is still unfolding. So I don't know how the state police are going to enforce all that. I guess they just want to criminalize everybody in the state.
We're talking with Richard Pearson. He is the executive director of the Illinois State Rifle Association, getting his response to the latest litigation and the back and forth, especially after a preliminary injunction had a stay put in place after only 6 days. And Richard, I mean, when I talked with gun stores, they said hundreds of firearms were purchased from during that 6-day window. How is it even possible for state police to I guess know if they purchased unlawful weapons, as they say, quote unquote, assault weapons? Do you think that gun stores are going to have to continue to get lawyers because of possible ramifications? State police going to these gun stores to pull their sales records?
Well, it's possible they could do that because we have the Illinois State Firearm Dealer Licensing Act, and so it's possible for them to do that. But I'm not sure that what they're doing is legal, and I think that that's going to wind up being another court case. I think that they are showing that the state wants to put the boot heel of power on the necks of all the gun owners in the state, and I don't think they're going to stand for it.
Again, Richard Pearson with us on WMAY talking about the latest back and forth in litigation against Illinois' gun ban. And Richard, we've also got, as you mentioned, the U.S. Supreme Court looking to get a response from Naperville and Law Weapons requesting that they have a preliminary injunction put in place while the case plays out in the Naperville case. But you also have the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals looking to consolidate the Southern District cases, which Illinois State Rifle Association is part of, with those cases out of the Northern District of Illinois. First, on that consolidation efforts, where do you see that ultimately heading?
Well, I'm pretty sure that the cases are going to get consolidated. I have always thought that they probably would be, and they'll deal with this in one fell swoop. I wonder what's going to happen a little bit, because if you remember the McDonald case and some of the other cases, the Seventh Circuit pushed them straight to the Supreme Court. So there was very little waiting. But the problem is that the Supreme Court's going to be out of session here at the end of June. And so there probably won't be time before that for this case to be heard there.
Then we get to, again, the U.S. Supreme Court with Amy Coney Barrett requesting Naperville to respond by today. Are you and the Illinois State Rifle Association joining others to essentially have filings and briefs to as amicus briefs, friends of the court briefs, filed in that particular case as well?
I'm sorry, I had to switch.
Oh no, I think we lost Richard. Richard, are you there?
I'm here now. Are you there?
We are here. Yes, I take it you had to switch over from your Bluetooth to the actual phone. Richard, of course, in an area where they had strong winds. We had strong winds in our area as well. You actually had some power poles go down, so you're calling me from your car. So I appreciate you doing that. But back to the question at hand, though, with the U.S. Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett, the justice, wanting a response from Naperville by today. Do you see Illinois State Rifle Association joining others to file amicus briefs in that particular case as well?
That is certainly possible. I know that there is talk of doing that. We think, we want to support the cases for firearm freedom in Illinois, particularly we're talking about law-abiding citizens here. If they would come down as hard on the criminals as they're coming down on law-abiding citizens, maybe we wouldn't have this problem.
Obviously, there's a lot of twists and turns here, and something that gun owners are closely following. If people need more information through the Illinois State Rifle Association, where can they find that?
We'll be posting on the website as we get it, and so I think by the next thing we'll post on the website is that we can't do anything today because we're out of power, and so call us back tomorrow. But anyway, we'll be posting everything on the website that we can post.
Richard Pearson, Executive Director of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Appreciate you taking the time this morning, especially after having some severe weather in the early morning hours. Be safe, and we'll definitely connect again in the near future, all right?
All right, thank you.
It is Springfield's Morning News.